Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, July 9th council meeting. We can go ahead and begin at this time. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Clark,
Present.
Dutra,
Here.
Montesino,
Here.
Orozco,
Present.
Parker,
Here.
Salcido, Quiroz Carter.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you very much. All right, we are going to move on to item 1A, introduction of new employees and recognition of retirees. And I believe we have someone new from the library. So if we have someone to come on up and do the introduction, that would be fantastic.
Hello, good evening. We were hoping to be last in the list, but we're the first ones. So I would like to introduce Alexandra Zaragoza. She's our new library full-time clerk. She's gonna be helping pretty much in outreach in both libraries. She comes with a lot of experience in customer service. She's very excited. I know she's very nervous, just like I am. But yeah, she's amazing. She picked up all of our systems within a couple of weeks. She's been phenomenal. So we're really very, very glad to have her. So, want to say anything? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about that. You're the only one today. Welcome. All righty. Moving on to item 2, presentations. We have item 2A, our Summer in the City Graduation 2024. And I believe we have a video.
Hold on. I'll let you know. I'll cue you in. Cool. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. It's really a really happy moment to be able to celebrate our summer interns today. The city departments welcome 21 youth from Pajaro Valley Unified School District. And I want to take a moment to really thank the departments that welcome the students to this summer experience. I want to thank you for your support in the daily learning and guiding their task every day, but also your participation and work in developing their civic engagement project. Yesterday afternoon, we held a mock city council, and I have to say to all of you, I was impressed. I think you have an amazing future as working in any field you choose to work in, and I am very excited to see where you're headed in your future. But the way you answer the questions and that you prepare to argue all the projects that you brought forward was incredible, and we feel very proud of the work you did this summer. This is a long-term partnership with the Pajaro Valley Unified School District. I believe this is our 6th cohort that we've graduated with Summer in the City. So very, very excited for you all to conclude this summer experience with us. We want to thank you, parents, if you're here in the audience, family members and friends for the support. Thank you again. And we have a short video that we want to share with you all that highlights their summer experience with their own voices before we get the certificates.
Tamara, do you want to do the certificates first while I troubleshoot this?
I am happy to do that. We'll play by ear. See, it just happened yesterday. It's real. It's real.
Yeah, one's an IT out there, remember?
He can help us again, maybe.
Another next generation can solve the problem.
Ian, you helped us yesterday. All right, so we can go ahead and do the certificates. And so I'm going to start. Mayor, if you want to join up front, I think the certificates are there. Do you want to come over here? I can do it from here, if you like. All right. Okay.
Making their way here.
Okay, they flew by. Okay, great. Awesome. So if I call your name, like, go ahead and join the mayor, like, inside here, and maybe we'll start lining up here for a picture after you all have received your certificates. And again, congratulations on completing the 2024 Summer in the City program. The first graduate is Alina Gutierrez. She interned with the Community Development Department.
What school are they from? Can you say the school they go to?
I don't have the school, I don't have it on my notes.
They can tell us as they come.
But Alina, what school did you go to? Watsonville High. All right. And Anthony Aguirre Perez, he interned with the police department. I believe you're also from Pajaro Valley High.
We're looking for some police.
He knows. That was his project, recruitment in the police department. Andre Martinez with Public Works Department is where he interned. Andre, you attend what school? Watsonville High. Perfect. Ava Bañuelos, intern with the library. You go to Aptos High. Yeah. And then Berkeley Ashby is also intern with the Community Development Department. I believe she also attends Aptos High. Then next is Damien Sushel, and as an intern with the Parks and Community Services Department. And you attend what school? Aptos High, perfect. Daniela Tamayo, an intern with Public Works and Utilities. Daniela, you attend what school? Watsonville High, great. Next is Daniela Delgado Lopez, who interned at the airport. And you attend what school? Watsonville High, perfect. Eric Rodriguez with the IT department. Eric, and you attend what school? Watsonville High, perfect. And then Ian, who's, okay. He interned with the IT department, and I believe you attend Aptos High. Aptos High, right? Yep, thank you. Jacqueline Palomino, library. And then Jasmine Linares, intern with the City Manager's Department. And you attend what school? Watsonville High. Jacqueline, I forgot you, I skipped you, I think. Watsonville High, awesome. Cassandra Leon, intern with the library. Cassandra attends Watsonville High. And then next, Nicole Cardenas with the library, interning with the library. Nicole, you attend what school? Watsonville High. Awesome. Noah Magdaleno Rocha, intern with the Parks and Community Services Department. And you attend Watsonville High? Or? I go to Aptos High. Aptos High, my bad. Noah. Noemi Munoz Negrete with the Parks and Community Services Department. Noemi, what school do you attend? I go to Aptos. Aptos High, perfect. And then Romeo Diaz with Public Works Department. What school do you attend? Watsonville High. And then Samuel Delgadillo, intern at the airport. Samuel, what, you attend Aptos High. Perfect. Violeta Posadas with the Public Works Department. Violeta, you attend what school? Watsumo High. And then Jasmine Alvarez, intern with the Police Department. And Jasmine attends Watsumo High School. Perfect. And last but not least, Zulema Martinez, who also interned with the Parks and Community Services Department. And Zulema attends what school? Pajaro Valley High. Perfect. It's a great mix. Congratulations, graduates, really. Let's just take a group picture, and after the picture, we can then watch the video? Yeah? Okay. Like if you,
Yeah, we're coming.
just remember. Just come closer, Alina.
You need to be behind Rome. The tallest councilman.
You guys ready? Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Again. 1, 2, and 3. Last one. 1, 2, and 3. There we go.
Meet all the people.
All right. So now our technical difficulties have been solved. Thank you, congratulations again. So for students, interns, and family members, we will be, after watching this video, we will be delighted to host you next door. We have cake and lemonade to celebrate this. And tomorrow, the interns will be celebrating the end of their summer journey with us, attending Great America as a field trip. So that should be a fun day for you all. And thank you again for being part of our city. Ale, can we roll the video? Oh.
Meet all the people that I hoped I would meet that weren't people I would normally talk to, and I think that was a really big win for me. I selected the IT department because I am interested in engineering, and I figured that IT is very similar and would help me expand my knowledge on engineering.
My favorite part during summer in the city was being able to do the civic engagement activity because it'll help me aim towards getting the seal of civic engagement, which is really good for college applications. And not only that, you're doing it in a way that will help your local community, which is such an important thing to do.
I ended up just being really involved with different programs with kids in the summer. I thought it was really fun. I got to meet a lot of people, a lot of cool experiences and opportunity that presented itself through this program. It definitely exceeded my expectations.
Just spending the summer with everybody was fun because everybody got along very well and everybody wanted to help each other with their projects.
I would tell other students that are joining the program that it is extremely fun. It doesn't take a lot of time. There's a lot of interesting people that you get to meet, and it's an overall a pretty good experience.
Possible traffic air program and requesting radio check.
You'll have a good time. And not only that, you'll be helping a lot of children and a lot of people in the community.
All right, once again, congratulations. Summer in the City. It was wonderful to meet all of you. You had some really great questions for me when I came and chatted with you. So congratulations. Now you get to enjoy all the hard work that you put in over the summer. So have fun. Again, we have cake and lemonade next door. So feel free. We're just going to take a couple minutes so you can go enjoy yourselves, and then we're going to move on to the next part of the agenda. Thank you again.
Department heads and mentors and staff members, feel free to go celebrate and enjoy this moment while we hear another staff report in this room. But feel free to go and join the celebration if you guys want to. All right, we are ready to move on to the next part of our agenda. So moving on to item 3, public hearings, ordinances, and appeals. And we have item 3A, public hearing regarding ballot submittals, engineer's report, confirmation of diagram and assessment, and ordering levy of Vista Montana number 2 LMAD for fiscal year 2024 and 2025. So good evening. The public hearing this evening is the conclusion of the ballot proceedings that allow property owners in the Vista Montana subdivision to decide whether an assessment should be approved to provide funding for the proposed Vista Montana 2 Landscape and Lighting Assessment District. This public hearing gives owners and residents another opportunity to obtain additional information about the proposed assessment and to provide any additional input or comments to the city. At the end of the public input portion of the public hearing, the balloting period will close. The procedure for today's public hearing will be as follows. First, we will hear reports from city staff and consultants about the assessment district, the proposed assessments, and the ballot proceeding. We will then take questions from the council. Next, we will open up the public hearing so that the public can speak about this measure and ask questions. After the close of the public input portion of this hearing, staff and consultants will answer the questions raised. After the questions are answered, there will be a final call for ballots to be submitted. After the final call for ballots, the public input portion of the hearing will be closed. The ballot tabulation process will commence. These ballots will be tabulated by the consultants in plain view of any property owner who wishes to observe. The results of the Proposition 218 ballot measure will be announced. All ballots must be submitted prior to the close of the public input portion of today's hearing. The ballot box is located right here, right behind the podium. Please drop your ballot in this box if you wish to submit your ballot. If you have misplaced your ballot or need a new ballot, you can request and receive a replacement ballot here today. You must provide some form of identification and proof of ownership for the parcels you claim ownership. Please see Melanie Lee. Melanie, if you could please raise your hand. Please see Melanie, the person with her hand raised, to receive a placement ballot. Will staff and the assessment engineer now make their presentations to the public? Thank you.
Good evening, Council and staff, city staff. My name is Joe Medina, Park Superintendent. I'm here with Edric Kwan from SCI Consulting Group and Nick Kalibakib, our Parks Director. Tonight we're going to do a shortened version of our LMAD presentation, as you guys have heard this multiple times before. So staff is recommending at this time that City Council receive the staff report, open the public hearing, receive testimony, tabulate all valid ballots received, close the public hearing, discuss, and if a majority protest does not exist, i.e. a weighted majority of ballots cast are in favor of the measure, adopt a resolution approving engineer's report, confirming diagram and assessment, and ordering levy of Vista Montana No. 2 Landscape and Lighting Assessment District for fiscal year 2024-25. A short background on Vista Montana. Again, it's a lighting and landscape maintenance assessment district, a single-purpose special district independent of state, county, and city's general fund, funding various, various amenities throughout the neighborhood, not limited to, but including lighting and landscape. The Vista Montana LMAD is funded from revenues from an assessment paid annually by property owners and collected by the county as part of their property taxes. Fees vary based on the type of residence. For Vista Montana, there is single-family apartments and townhomes, and the increase may be increased annually by CPI, or Consumer Price Index. The fees pay for the ongoing maintenance and replacement reserve of the LMAD services. Funds can only be used for LMAD expenses. So the current financial status, this is due to various reasons that we've explained through our ongoing community outreach over the last year or so via virtual and in-person meetings. The budget is not sufficient to support current or enhanced maintenance. The budget is also not sufficient to build the reserve for future replacement. The full financial history is available on the website, which is one of our many avenues of outreach for the public that we've conducted. Over the time that we've been meeting and having these outreach events, we've worked with the community and Director Kalibakib and Interim City Manager Vitas and SCI Consulting Group to formulate a proposal that would be most likely to be accepted by the property owners in the neighborhood. So here you see a breakdown of our current assessments and the potential overlay assessment. The first row shows the current, the second row shows the potential increase. The third row is the estimated total with both together. The fourth row shows you the percentage of increase. And the fifth row shows you our original proposal. We had multiple proposals that have been a part of this, and this final one is what we've landed on as our most agreeable, or something that is most likely to be accepted by the residents or property owners, excuse me. So moving on through the process, one of the things that we realized and learned from the community outreach was that the fee would be very difficult for residents to take on as a lump sum. So we were able to use a great idea by Interim City Manager Vitas to formulate a 5-year plan that would make those increases gradual rather than all at once. And you can see that here in the slide. The year 1 would be a 30% assessment. Year 2 would add an additional 25% of the assessment. Year 3, an additional 25, bringing the total to 80% of the total. And then the final 2 years would be another 10% increase each year. So here's another breakdown of the fee increase showing what property owners would expect to be paying over the course of the 5 years. So if using the single family example, you have an increase of $222 the first year, an additional $180 or so in the second year, bringing the total to $407. Another 180 the third year, bringing it to 592, and so on until you get to the full amount, which is the 718.88 for the single family and a bit less for townhomes and apartments. So if the fee increase does not pass, the annual assessment that currently is in place will remain. The goal of building a reserve will be prioritized. Ongoing maintenance will be reduced to only essential infrastructure and health and safety items, and no aesthetic landscape maintenance will occur until the replacement reserve is replenished. Great timing. So a summary of the options: the new gradual increase option would increase the current LMAD assessment to have enhanced maintenance and a less than adequate reserve, and an increase over several years. If the homeowners do not approve the comprised option or the compromised option, then we do not increase the fees and postpone all landscape maintenance. Again, that's aesthetic landscape maintenance. We would still address safety issues and health and safety type of landscape issues. And that would go on until the replacement reserve is replenished. So the balloting process, so I want to start off with a little bit of the timeline. You've seen this graph before, but just to go over it, we've had multiple outreach events over the last year or so, culminating with tonight, July 9th, where our ballots are going to be counted and the engineer's report potentially filed. So I'm going to hand it off to Edric to go over a little bit more of the balloting process.
Good evening, Mayor and Honorable Mayor and members of the council. I'm Edric Kwan, Senior Vice President of SCI, and happy to be back. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Prop 218 benefit assessment process. As you know, and as Joseph had discussed, the assessment amounts vary by parcel and are based on several unique parcel characteristics and factors. Each parcel owner will receive only one ballot, and each ballot is weighted in proportion to the parcel proposed assessment. So what that means is if I own one house and Joseph owns two houses, and let's say $200 for the assessment, I would have 200 votes while Joseph will have 400 votes. And so that's what we mean by weighted ballots. The total assessment amount is the amount of votes as described earlier, and only returned ballots are tabulated. So everything that we receive in this box after we close the public input portion will be counted. And again, they're weighted based on the proposed assessment. The proposed assessment is based on fiscal year 24-25 budget. So that's something we work very closely with the city to gather what the budget will be in order to maintain the system out there. And if approved, the assessment will be paid on an annual basis. And in order for the assessment-derived revenues to keep up with the rising cost, an annual adjustment tied to the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, may be applied each year moving forward. So in the event that the actual assessment rate for any given year is not increased by the amount equal to the CPI change, any deferred assessment increase may be added to the total amount assessed in any subsequent year. So that offers some flexibility for the council to make decisions in the future when it comes to the CPI. And you can bank the remaining amount for other years where you might not have enough growth, but you have a lot of expenses. So if this measure passes, the authority to revise the assessment annually by CPI will rest solely on the city council. This proposal also has no sunset because unfortunately maintenance is ongoing and cost rises, so no sunset is part of this measure. However, this assessment will only be charged if the city council can justify the budgetary needs. So that gives you another bite at the apple. Every year, the staff will bring to you a budget, and it needs to be able to match that budget, no more than that. In addition to the possible increase described on the previous slide, the city council may also maintain or lower the assessment rate in certain fiscal years. And again, that's adding that flexibility to the council's decision. The city council may also choose not to levy the assessment if funds are no longer needed. So the measure can stop if needed because there's no more needs for funds in the future. You have that ability as well. The recommendation today is to, again, receive the staff report. We've just opened the public hearing. Next would be to receive testimony, and afterwards, with the public input portion closing, we will be tabulating the results. If a majority protest does not exist, meaning a weighted majority of ballots cast are in favor of the measure, you may adopt a resolution approving the engineer's report, confirming the diagram and assessment, and ordering levy of Vista Montana number 2 Landscape and Lighting Assessment District for fiscal year 24-25. Thank you, and are there any questions?
Any questions from council? All right, that's a first. All right. All right, I will now open the public hearing for the proposed Vista Montana 2 Landscape and Lighting Assessment District. If you wish to speak, Please fill out a speaker card and place it at the podium as you rise to speak. Please state your name and district where you live for the record and direct your remarks to the city. Please be ready to speak as soon as the person before you has finished. You may speak only once during this hearing. All comments are limited to 2 minutes per speaker. Council member and staff will not respond immediately to your remarks. All questions raised will be answered after all public comment has been received. Is there anyone who would like to comment? I do not see anyone from the public who would like to comment. All right, is it last, I believe it's last call for ballot submissions? At this time, I'm issuing the last call for ballot submission for the proposed Vista Montana Number 2 Landscape and Lighting Assessment District. Please turn in any ballots that you wish to have counted. Ballots received after the close of the public input portion of this hearing will not be counted. The public input portion of the hearing is now closed. Are there any council member comments on the matter before us? All right, seeing none. On behalf of the City of Watsonville, I hereby direct the tabulator to begin the tabulation of the ballots in this matter. If the tabulation finds that a weighted majority of ballots submitted are in support of the proposed assessment, the City Council may consider a resolution to levy the assessments commencing in fiscal year 2024-25. If 50% or less of the weighted ballots are in favor of the formation, City Council cannot, per Proposition 218, adopt a resolution to approve the final engineer's report and order the improvements and formation of the new district. The original assessment will remain in place. City staff will prioritize building the reserve budget and revert the maintenance budget to the minimum amount needed to provide safety. All right. With that, I think we are going to move on to item 4. Do we have any closed session correspondence? I don't believe we do. And we will now be moving on to closed session. Public comments regarding only the closed session agenda will be accepted by the City Council at this time. Do we have anyone from the public that would like to weigh in on any closed session items? Seeing no one from the public, we are going to go into closed session and we will return at approximately 7 p.m. All right, welcome. We are back. We are now going to resume our council meeting. It is 7:19. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Clark?
Present.
Dutra?
Here.
Montesino?
Here.
Orozco?
Present.
Parker?
Here.
Salcido?
Here.
And Quiroz Carter.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you very much. All right, we do not have any absent council members, so we're going to go ahead and skip item 6A and move on to item 7, Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much. Now we're moving on to item 8, information items, reports of disbursements and miscellaneous documents. Those can be found in the agenda packet. So we're going to go ahead and move forward to item 9, public hearings, ordinances, and appeals, which is continued from the previous portion of our meeting. And we are on item 9A, public hearing regarding ballot submittals, engineer's report, confirmation of diagram and assessment, and ordering levy of Vista Montana Number 2 LMAD for fiscal year 2024 to 2025. And we are on item 4 under 9A, results from ballot tabulation.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the council. My name is Edric Kwan, Senior Vice President for SEI Consulting Group. So I'm here to provide you the results of the tabulation. The city received 121 out of 256 ballots as part of this public hearing. 18.85% of the ballots weighted by the assessment amounts were in support. The remaining 81.15% were not. The measure did not pass. There is no further action. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that means that we do not have to vote on a motion since the measure did not pass. And we can go ahead and move forward to item 10, I believe, at this time. Thank you very much. All righty, so we are going to move on to item 10, our consent agenda. All items appearing on the consent agenda are recommended actions that are considered to be routine and will be acted upon as one motion. Any items removed will be considered immediately after the motion. The mayor, that's me, will allow public input prior to the approval of the consent agenda. Would anyone from the public like to speak on any items on the consent agenda at this time? Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Scott Berry from Joby Aviation. I live here in Watsonville and just want to say thank you so much for the consideration of our proposal to be at the airport and build our college. And I've been with Joby for 10 years. I'm an engineer and just very passionate about aviation and also very passionate about helping fix our traffic problem and just making it easy for us to get around and go to the important areas we care about. Joby is just a really special company, and I'm excited to see them come and start building a small step in Watsonville and just ultimately helping improve our overall area. So thank you again. Very excited for the next 10 years or so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have anyone else from the public who'd like to speak on the consent agenda? All right, seeing no one else wishing to speak on the consent agenda, I will bring it back to council. Councilmember Dutra?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few questions on a few of the points.
Sure, did you want to pull any items?
No, it's fine. I just, first of all, want to talk about the Joby. Thank you for coming to Watsonville. I think that you're the future, and this is one of the reasons why I support our airport so much, is that we can have opportunities like this. I mean, we're going to be able to, be taking air taxis from spot to spot, hopefully one day, and really alleviating traffic throughout our community from cars. So I look forward to seeing what the future looks like. Hopefully I'm around long enough. They'll be around long enough for sure. So I also wanted to talk, I guess, Nick, sure. No?
No.
I don't think that's
I don't-
allowed.
Discussion.
I am
Well, I
so
just want to say
sorry.
thank you. The airport is an incredibly
you.
important asset. So.
Okay, thank you. I also wanted to, I guess, Director Lindberg, I have a few, she was ready. Yeah.
I know I have a few items on the agenda.
You do have a few items, so you kind of knew I was going to
No
probably go
problem.
to you first. So we're going to be we are being asked to reject 10C.
Yes.
And when we rebid that, will there be a PLA in place on that project, or are we reconsidering that?
I think that one will be reconsidered. The reason why we're rebidding that one is because the estimate was far too high for that one, and I didn't think it needed to be that high. So we reevaluated after we got our bids back, and we are going to be able to rebid that. I don't want to commit completely, but looking at the staff report and the numbers that were there would not put it over the PLA threshold.
So we're going to rebid it at this with the PLA in place, or?
I don't think it will reach the
It won't reach-
600,000 to trigger the PLA when we rebid it.
Oh, okay, thank you. And then also, since you're here, I had two questions for you. The other one was on, I think the Green Valley Road reconstruction. I think people are gonna be very excited to know that that road's finally gonna be, worked on. I think it falls in, my district and Maria's district, I think, split it. So is that gonna be complete reconstruction of the road, or is that, and it's gonna be starting at Freedom Boulevard and going to the bridge? Before the district office? Is that correct?
Well, the map is in here.
The model just said yes, so.
To the city limits, yes.
Thank you. I'm like, I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, the map.
I think we just need to be clear on that project, just because I think that the public doesn't always understand where our city
Yes.
limits lie. And they're gonna be very confused why we put a brand new beautiful road in. And
Stopping.
we're gonna stop at the bridge.
Yes.
And so I don't know what we can do to maybe educate the public that that's county.
Yeah.
Once you step beyond
We
that
talked
bridge.
about that a couple months ago, yeah, and I think that's a very valid point, and especially with it, straddling two districts, so we'll work closely with our public information officers to, do some really active communication with some signage to kind of relay that, because we know no matter what we do, there's still gonna be some
Yeah, I think just
confusion.
put a big, huge sign that says, "The city stops here," or something, Yeah. Well, people don't understand that. They're
I
gonna think
know.
we're gonna do a half a job, and, because when we did the side with Safeway and we stopped right in the middle of, like, right on the side of Safeway, they're like, "Why didn't you finish the road?" Well, that's the city line. We fund up to city, we fund up to the city.
Right.
Yeah. I think that is it. So
Okay.
thank you, I
Yep.
appreciate it for you. Unless someone else wants to ask you since you're here. Okay, we might as well just go through.
Councilmember Salcido?
I think you're off.
That 10Z, you're going to be on the Santa Cruz Housing for Health Partnership Policy Board. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you're going to be making decisions or recommendations on?
Sure. So I think this is a growing topic in the area for sure. And while, I don't think any of us, kind of weird to say you're an expert on homelessness, but I have quite a bit of history having lived in other cities that waited too long to take action. And that's one of my passions with Watsonville, is that I think we're at a really important precipice of how we manage our geographic location, kind of our political positioning, and looking at, the levy that we have and the usage of that and some of the patterns that we're seeing. So for me, it's a personal passion. I think it straddles Public Works a lot with my field services staff that handles that. And, it's very interdepartmental, working with police, fire, community development, city manager's office. So I think it's a very appropriate fit for me to serve in that capacity.
Will you be coming up with like recommendations, or how will it
I
work
hope
as a
so.
body?
I'm not really sure what the role entails, but I, plan to be very active in it and bringing things back, because I think Watsonville has a voice that absolutely needs to be heard, and I plan to help with that.
Councilmember Montesino?
Yeah, well, I'd like to move the consent agenda and then ask question.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second.
And now I have a question. First a comment, under 10V, Jovi Aviation, finally you're coming, and I'm really thankful, and hopefully it keeps growing. But Nick, 10W, approved the Pajaro Valley Arts Council. Can I So don't they have their own space now, or why are we, still providing that space where the community could benefit in other ways?
But do you need 4 years?
Your mic.
Yeah.
No, again. You have to look and see when that green light goes.
There.
There, good.
You're good.
Okay. Start again. Good evening. Nick Kolobakib, Parks and Community Services Director. There are members of the Pajaro Valley Arts Council here tonight that could probably give a more thorough answer, but from what my understanding is that there's still a lot of work to be done at the Porter Building, and as that work gets completed, they're still going to need access to another facility to continue to host shows, to use as their administrative offices and whatnot in the interim until that building is fully operational on both the first and second level.
I have a question on that too. Sorry, I was gonna talk about that, but I went with Courtney first. 5 years, that's a long time though. I mean, we haven't even had no one's given us a report on how this new building is going, Tamara. Like, we haven't received a report, like, how they are with their capital campaign. Hi. Hi, Judy. So, I mean, I think this is like really premature before we even know where they stand with the current building.
So at this point in time, we are in the middle of our capital campaign, and we've raised about a little bit over $400,000 with another $75,000 coming in from the Monterey Peninsula Foundation a couple of days ago. And we are at the schematic phase of our plans, so that means that we are really close to submitting them for development review. And we feel that within 1 to 3 years, we will be able to build out the space. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. We're trying to activate the space in the meantime, which I think we did a really good job of with the Lowrider Show, more than cars, lowrider culture. But we do still need to raise additional funds, and we do give an annual report. I don't believe it's due until August, if I'm not mistaken. But we are working our tails off trying to get it done and get the space ready and be there for the community. So on the close side, I'm thinking 1 to 3 years. But in case things happen, engineering-wise or whatever, we never know how long construction is going to take on a building that's, over 100 years old. We are willing to give the building back at any point in time. We're ready to move over. So as soon as the build-out's done, we'd be happy to give the building
So
back.
once the building is completed, then you would hand over the building? Okay, so you're.
Absolutely.
I was imagining you just using both buildings, and so you're actually just doing it until you do the renovation of the new building?
Yeah, it's not our intent to run 2 facilities, unless, of course, we outgrow it, but then we probably want to come back and renegotiate at that point. But this is more, why come back every year when we can do something once over a 5-year period? But we're ready to give it back. We want to move.
I bet. Okay, thank you for that explanation. That works for me, so.
But is that in the contract that you're willing to give back?
So I think with our leases, there's always an opportunity for either party to opt out or to terminate the lease at any point. So I think if the day comes before the 5-year mark that PV Arts would like to terminate that lease and are they ready to fully move into the Porter Building, then I think we on the city end would definitely honor that.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council?
I was
Councilmember
almost done.
Dutra?
I think, Nick, I have one more for you, so you might as well stay there.
Great.
The plaza, I see I was kind of a little surprised on the price tag for kind of the landscaping design. So can you give me a little bit, or give the public a little bit of an explanation of what that entails, what the total cost will look like for this? And, I hear there might be some issues with that we maybe have to be reconsidering because of the difficulties of renovating the bandstand.
Yes, definitely. So the contract amendment that's before you tonight is for SSA Landscape Architects. So they're our landscape architecture firm who are drawing up the construction drawings for the Plaza project. Their current contract includes the total design work, and we're about at 90% there. It also included an allocation for electrical design and for historical kind of restructuring design, especially around the gazebo. We knew, I think even when we went to contract with SSA though, that especially for the historical architecture piece, that it likely wouldn't be enough. Like most landscape architects, they don't have historical architects in-house, so they subcontract that kind of work. So our subcontractor now is kind of responsible for working on some design options for us to fully retrofit the gazebo to make it usable again and bring it back to its original form, so that it can be used by both the public and the city for things like performances and so forth. There's a lot more work that I think nobody really anticipated that is going into figuring out what that all means. When we bid out the design work, it was bid, kind of without necessarily a walkthrough with the landscape architects who responded to the RFP. So they didn't get to see the inside of the gazebo, what the infrastructure looks like in there. And even if they were, the historical architect who's working on this now, in order to do the work that really this amendment is going to pay for, it required some extra additional things. So a couple of weeks ago, we potholed outside of the gazebo to take a look at what the foundation of the gazebo looks like, and those kind of unknowns, we just didn't have that information at the time that this was bid out. So this amendment helps to pay for that additional work, so that when we come back to the council, hopefully in August, with our historical architect's recommendations for what it would take to fully restore the gazebo, we've got a better understanding of what those costs are. so that the council can help us weigh in on, to what extent we want to invest in.
I think we were under the assumption that what we were originally going to invest was going to cover the entire plaza. So it sounds like from what you're saying today is that, that we're going to need to come up with more money to actually, if we want to do the complete, including the gazebo and everything else, it's going to cost a lot more.
It will definitely cost more than what our original estimates were back in 2020, which is kind of when we started this project. And just like anything else, construction costs have gone up. So even without the gazebo, we knew that we'd be spending more on this project than we originally anticipated, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, thank you for that update. Appreciate it.
Councilmember Clark?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to make a statement. Since I am a actual voting member of PVA, Pajaro Valley Arts, I need to recuse from 10W. But I would like to ask if Eduardo, Councilmember Montesino and Councilmember Orozco would amend your motion. Thank you. My brain just shut down. So, you can remove 10W. And then we'll vote on the consent agenda, and then I will recuse myself for when you guys do 10W? Okay, thank you. Thank you for bearing with me so I could get that out of my mouth. Yeah, so pull 10W.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I'll vote on the consent agenda. Then when you guys vote on 10W, I will recuse.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll second that amendment.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Are we okay to proceed? All right, so we're voting on everything but 10W, which has been pulled. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Clark?
Aye.
Dutra?
Aye.
Montesino?
Yes.
Orozco?
Aye.
Parker?
Yes.
Salcido?
Aye.
Quiroz Carter?
Aye.
The motion carries.
All right, and at this time, if Councilmember Clark will go ahead and recuse, and we will vote on 10W. We'll just wait a minute here.
Will the makers of the motion be the same?
Somebody has to make the motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call on 10W, please?
Dutra?
Aye.
Montesino?
No.
Orozco?
Aye.
Parker?
Aye.
Salcido?
Aye.
Quiroz Carter?
Aye.
The motion carries.
All right, so we are going to, so we were on item 11, and we pulled 10W, voted on 10W, and now we're going to move forward to item 12, presentations and oral communications. This time is set aside for members of the general public to address council on any item not on the council agenda, which is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. No action or discussion shall be taken on any item presented, except that any council member may respond to statements made or questions asked, or may ask questions for clarification. All matters of an administrative nature will be referred to staff. All matters relating to council will be noted in the minutes and may be scheduled for discussion at a future meeting or reference to staff for clarification and report. All speakers are asked to fill out a speaker card and leave it at the podium. Speakers are asked to announce their name and district in which they live in order to obtain an accurate record for the minutes. All righty, so we are on item 12A, oral communications from the public. Would anyone from the public like to speak on any item not on the agenda? Now is your time to do so. Welcome.
Steve Trujillo, Cabrillo trustee for District 7, live in District 7. Ari Parker, I sent you an email. I want to thank you for responding about the almost cacophonous and unbelievable noise July 4th. It was unbelievable. People are now weaponizing their use of fireworks. They're firing bottle rockets at people who own dogs, including myself. My dog shook for 30 minutes. She's 70 pounds. I had to hold her in order to get her to be able to calm down from the horrific sound of fireworks. Now, I recognize that my political views are not the views of everybody maybe on the council, and certainly not everybody in the view of Watsonville, but they know where I live, folks, and they're willing to weaponize those fireworks. Folks, we're the only city in this county that still sells them. Santa Cruz, Scotts Valley, Capitola got rid of those sales years and years ago. They cause burns. They burst eardrums. They do damage to skin and eyes. They cause PTSD victims to relapse. They are not okay. And many cities across this state and this country have gotten rid of them. And guess what? There are better ways to raise money. Prepackaged sales of food, patriotic regalia. We don't need to sell this crap anymore. And we need to grow up as a city and face the fact that fireworks are dangerous and they're not okay. They're simply not to mention what they do to global warming. Look at what's happening in Texas right now. Global warming, all that carbon dioxide and gases that are emitted from these fireworks, all they do is harm the planet, our beloved pet life and wild animal life. Remember, we live in the Pajaro Valley. That's Bird Valley for those of you who are non-Spanish speaking. And yes, we need to preserve maybe some peace and quiet for the birds that live here. It's about damn time, don't you think?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es... Buenas noches, mi nombre es Lorenza Contreras, vivo en 33 Walker Street. Yo nomás venía a comunicarles poquito algo de lo que está pasando en el río. Tengo 23 años viviendo allí y ahorita en el río es mucho problema con los homeless que están viviendo allí. Están causando mucho daño en los carros, en las casas, se meten en las casas, anda la gente prácticamente desnuda, no dejan dormir a la gente, de tanto problema que hay. Últimamente, este año ha sido una cosa horrible con tanto problema que estamos teniendo con ellos. No sé si ustedes han pasado o han ido para aquel rumbo, cómo está, ya no se puede caminar. Siempre tiene que tener uno los niños encerrados porque sale uno para afuera, los problemas son siempre que está allí los homeless, allí inyectándose, dejan las jeringas donde quiera. Entonces, pues yo pienso que todo eso es muy mal ejemplo para los niños y simplemente las casas ya no pueden estar abiertas, siempre tienen que estar cerradas porque ellos se meten, te gritan muchas cosas, no puedes llamarles tú la atención porque te quieren golpear. Entonces, estamos teniendo muchos problemas con ellos este año. No sé si se puede hacer algo al respecto.
Gracias.
Buenas noches.
Por favor, espera un momento porque van a traducir, ¿ok?
Gracias.
Good afternoon. My name is Lorenza Contreras. I live on Walker Street. I just wanted to come here to let you know what's happening at the river. I've been living here 23 years. And right now at the river, there's just a lot of problems with the homeless that are living there. They're causing a lot of damage on the cars, the homes. They go into the homes. Some of them are walking around almost naked. They don't let us sleep. From all the problems we're having this year, it has been horrible. With all the problems that we keep having with them, we don't know if you guys have passed by there or have gone around the area, so you can see that you can't even walk around there. We always have to have our children inside the homes because once they go outside, there's always problems because the homeless are there, they're injecting themselves, they leave their syringes around. So I think all of that is a bad example for all the children. The homes can no longer be open, they have to be locked because they go inside, they yell at us. You can't tell them anything because they just want to hurt you. So we're having a lot of problems with them this year. I don't know if you guys can do anything regarding that.
Okay, thank you. Bienvenidos.
Muy buenas noches. Mi nombre es Yolanda Medina y vivo por la Grove. Y pues nada más que estoy en contra de esto porque nada menos ayer A las 2 de la mañana pasó una señora, grite, y grite. Dice de mil cosas, de malas palabras, entonces me imagino que eso no está bien tampoco para los niños. Entonces, de este fin de semana hasta hoy, van 2, 3 veces que pasan, le avientan los carros a los carritos de tienda a los carros, y pues es un problema. Es un problema porque, como le digo, yo ahorita vivimos por ahí, por esa calle, y pues en realidad es mucho estar viendo muchas cosas que pasan señoras desnudas completamente. Entonces, los niños preguntan por qué anda así, y pues la gente pues nomás le dice, pues es que andan drogados, hijos, ¿qué más les dice? Entonces, eso no está bien. Me gustaría que pasaran y vieran qué es lo que está pasando ahí por allí. Gracias.
Gracias.
Buenas tardes.
Un momento, señor, por favor, van a traducir. Angie, we can't hear you. Angie, we can't hear you if you're talking.
My name is Yolanda Medina, and I live on 100 Grove. And I'm just here letting you know that I'm against all the issues we keep having, because just last night at 2 a.m. there was a woman screaming.
Angie, your microphone's cutting off. I'm not sure if you're holding it, but there's pieces that we're able to listen to, and there's others that are just cutting off. I can get you the wireless mic if that microphone's having issues. We're going to get you another mic.
Okay. My name is Yolanda Medina, and I live on 100 Grove. And I'm here to let you know that I'm against everything that is happening, because just last night at 2 a.m. there was a woman screaming. She's saying tons of things. She's saying bad words. And I can only imagine that that's not okay for our children. From this weekend to today, it's been about 2 to 3 times that they pass with their shopping carts and they throw them to the cars. And it's just becoming more problems. Like I said, I live there on that street. And in all reality, it's just too much going on. Seeing all of these things that keep happening. There's women that pass by naked. The children ask, why are they walking like that? And all all we can say is they're drugged, that there's nothing else that we can tell them. So we don't think that's okay. We would like for you guys to pass by there so you guys can see for yourself what's happening. Thank you.
Bienvenidos.
Buenas tardes. Mira, yo nomás tengo una sugerencia para que todos nos analicemos el problema que tenemos en la comunidad, porque en verdad, o sea, el proyecto que tienen para construir unos estudios para ayudar a esta gente que necesita ayuda, todos sabemos que necesitan ayuda, pero el lugar donde quieren construir para ayudarlos, no es que estemos en contra, sino que estamos mirando el peligro que corren los niños, los jóvenes, porque estas personas son, una vez que se drogan, se ponen muy agresivos. Hace 3 semanas pasó un incidente. Una sola persona con un cuchillo estuvo amenazando a todo alrededor. Llegó la policía, eran 7 u 8 policías y no lo podían controlar. Los policías son personas que están capacitadas para resolver ese problema. Ellos no lo podían resolver. Ellos están preparados, saben cómo defenderse y no lo podían controlar, no lo podían someter. Tuvieron que usar una fuerza para poderlo someter. Entonces, si nosotros miramos, como yo que he mirado, cómo estas personas son de agresivas y con la policía, 3 u 4 ocasiones se las aventó con el cuchillo. ¿Se imaginan ustedes el peligro que corre alguno de nuestros niños? Es un peligro grave. Las personas, no es que estemos en que no reciban ayuda, el problema es de que les están ayudando, pero a la vez la comunidad está en riesgo. Nuestros jóvenes están en riesgo. Si unas personas que representan la ley no pueden controlar a una sola persona, ¿qué se espera de un joven o de un niño o de una madre de familia? Ustedes como padres de familia, todos los que estamos aquí presentes, miremos el problema que es. No estamos en contra de ellos.
Gracias. Gracias. Emma.
Gracias.
Gracias.
I'm here with a suggestion so that we can all analyze the problem we have in our community. Because in reality, the project that you have to construct the homes for these people, that we all know they need help. But the place where you want to have this construction, it's not that we're against it. We're just seeing all the danger that our children have. All these people, when they get drugged, they get aggressive. 3 weeks ago, we had an incident. One person with a knife was threatening everybody around. Officers arrived. There was about 7 to 8 officers, and they couldn't control him. These are people, our officers are trained and should be capable of resolving this problem, and they couldn't resolve it. They are prepared, they know how to defend themselves, and they still couldn't control him. They had to use force in order to be able to detain him. So I myself saw how these people are aggressive, and with our police officers, 3 or 4 times he lunged himself towards the officers. If you can only imagine the danger that our children are in. This is great danger that they're in. It's not that we don't want them to receive help. The problem is that you guys are helping them, but then at the same time, the community is in danger. Our adolescent children are in danger. If the people that represent the law cannot control one person, then what can we expect of an adolescent, a child, or a mother of a family? And us as parents and everybody else here, I think we should be able to see the problem that we have. We aren't against them.
Welcome. Bienvenidos.
Hola, buenas noches. Mi nombre es Lorena Vázquez. Yo vivo en 17 Walker Street, Riverside, cerca al río. He tenido muchos problemas con los homeless y no estoy de acuerdo con que se abra un shelter allí, en que yo tengo un negocio, tengo un daycare con licensing. So, este viernes pasado se metió una homeless a la yarda de atrás y tenía a los niños jugando y todo. Y empezó a gritarles y a insultar a los niños y todo, y con la yarda de mi lado a la otra yarda. Entonces, fue una experiencia traumante para los niños, ya que me empezaron a hacer preguntas. Y pues como todas las personas que han venido aquí han dicho, o sea, ya cuando ellos están drogados no son personas que se puedan controlar o son personas que se pueda hablar con ellas. Yo, como les dije la otra vez que vine, tengo una persona que está en la cárcel ahorita y mañana tiene corte. Tengo miedo de que salga porque no sé qué va a hacer sus iniciativas a mí, porque va a saber que yo fui la que la mandé a la cárcel. So, yo ahorita tengo mucho miedo de que salga mañana tiene corte, y porque de ahí se lo llevaron de la casa. Y era una persona homeless que llegó con un machete y llegó con algo filoso. Entonces estaba esperando ahí que llegáramos nosotros para, no sé qué nos iba a hacer, pero sí tengo miedo. Y más por el negocio que tengo, de que yo trabajo con niños. Y a ver si pueden tomar eso en consideración y pueden ayudarnos con esa situación. Gracias.
Gracias.
Good evening, my name is Lorena Vasquez. I live on 17 Walker Street, close to Riverside, close to the river. I've been having a lot of problems with the homeless, and I do not agree with you guys building a shelter there. I have a business. I have a daycare that has licensing. This past Friday, there was a woman that was homeless that entered our backyard, and I had children playing there, and she started yelling at them, insulting them. She was next to our yard, and it was a traumatizing experience once they started asking me questions. Just how everybody else has said, once they're drugged, you can't control them. You can't talk to them. Like I told you last time that I came, I have someone that I actually sent to jail. Tomorrow they have court, and I'm scared that they're gonna get out, because I don't know what they're gonna feel towards me, because they're gonna know that I'm the one that sent them to jail. So right now I'm scared that tomorrow they're gonna get out because they have court. They took them from my home. It's someone that went to my home with a machete, with a sharp object, and they were just waiting for us to get there to do, I don't know what they were planning to do to us. So I'm scared. And more because of the business that I have, again, because I work with children. And I hope you take that into consideration so you guys can help us with that situation. Thank you.
Bienvenidos.
Buenas noches. Mi nombre es Cristina López, representamos el Distrito 1, vivo entre la calle Rodríguez y Ortega. Yo, igual que todos los que han hablado, todos queremos un Watsonville, creo que limpio, libre de esa gente que pues no aportan nada a la comunidad. Y si están así, pienso yo, en mi opinión, ellos decidieron estar así. Todos tenemos una historia tal vez triste y podemos decir, oh, es que el trasfondo familiar, pero muchos decidimos ser buenas personas, buenos ciudadanos, pagamos nuestros taxes, trabajamos. Y es como un premio, decir que vamos a construir algo para ellos. Pienso que deberían de construir y ver por nuestros hijos, por nuestros jóvenes, por nuestros ancianos, que son personas de bien. Y no por esas personas, ¿verdad?, que han decidido vagar por nuestras calles, ensuciando. A mi esposo el otro día miró a un joven que está drogado y hizo sus necesidades ahí enfrente del correo. Pienso que es sucio. Pienso que no es apto para nuestros hijos si vamos en el carro y ellos van mirando eso. Yo pienso que si quieren construir algo, como dijo un señor que dijo ahorita, no estamos en contra. Háganlo con su dinero, quizás recaudado con la gente que está a favor, y construyanlo fuera de la ciudad. Mantengamos un Watsonville limpio. Vivo aquí por 20 años por esas calles. Ahora me siento insegura salir a caminar. Quiero ir al Parque Museo que nos queda enfrente. Y ahí andan los drogadictos, van y vienen, andan drogándose, ensuciando las calles, inyectándose, como dijo la otra señora. Tenemos que cuidar nuestros carros. Nosotros los cuidamos, lo compramos con tanto esfuerzo y que ellos pasen con sus carritos y les peguen. Van y abren nuestros basureros, sacan la basura. Yo entiendo que tienen hambre, pero ellos decidieron no trabajar y no comer. Entonces, pienso que si pudieran mejor invertir ese dinero que quieren gastar en las escuelas, y darles
Gracias,
más
señora.
programas.
Gracias. Gracias.
My name is Cristina Lopez, and we represent District 1. We live between Rodriguez and Ortega. Just like the other people that has talked, I think we all want a town that's clean and free of these type of people that they don't care about our community. And if they are like this, in my opinion, I think that they decided to be homeless. I know we can all say that, we can all give a sad story, we can all say we have some type of problem with our own family, but a lot of us decided to be good people, be good citizens. We pay our taxes, we work, and it's like giving them a prize, saying we're going to construct something for you. Because it's not good for our children, for our elderly people. And it's not fair that it's something that's being given to these people that are living out on the street that just keep getting everything dirty. My husband the other day saw a young man that was drugged and did his business right there in front of our mailbox. I think that's dirty. I don't think that's okay for our children to see that if we're passing by in our own cars. I think if you want to construct something like this, like someone else said, we're not against it. Do it with your money, that the people that support this were able to raise. But construct it outside of the city. Let's maintain Watsonville clean. I've been living here for 20 years on that same street, and I feel unsafe. I can't even go to the Museo Park, which is right in front, because that's where all the drug addicts are. They go drug themselves, they go inject themselves. Like another woman said, we have to take care of our cars. We take care of them, we buy them, and they just pass by with their shopping carts and hit them. They go and they open our trash cans, they throw out all our trash. We understand that they're hungry, but they decided not to work and not to eat. So why can't you just use that money for schools?
Welcome. Hello, my name is Catalina. I'm in District 1. I'm just here to remind you, who are we? District 1, and the reason we have been here, all these people. District 1 understand that you need to move the people who live in the Pajaro River, but we know that you guys need the right place, the right area, not in downtown, not in District 1. As mentioned so many times since you've been hearing from our community of District 1, we have already so much problems. Vandalism, robbery, drug problems, crime caused by people living in the Pajaro River. Our neighborhood meeting from last week, Ms. Tamara was there, Montesinos, Mr. Clark, police and fire department were there, and you got to know all the people. Some of the people have very sad and scary stories. You heard neighbors talking about gunshots, right in the middle of the night, vandalism, and how unsafe our streets are. We have lived this situation for a long time. The question is, did you know that? Or just you didn't care? When you make such an important decision like this project in downtown Watsonville, District 1, do you actually place yourself in the same position as the people of District 1? Do you actually question yourself about how would I like to have this project next to my home, around my neighbors in my district? How would I, my family, my kids, my grandkids, my parents, my friends be and feel safe? Will my grandkids be safe playing in the park? Because, by the way, District 1, our kids don't have playgrounds anymore, don't have parks. They were made for them and no longer theirs. Who would like to live in our community?
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Marta Belich, District 1, with a report on the improperly noticed city's community meeting held on June 26th at Marinovich Park. Due to efforts of the coalition of District 1's West Side for Families, Safety, and Social Justice, led by Catalina Torres, over 32 people representing industrial, commercial, and residential interests attended. Residents shared narratives about violence, crime, and urban blight impacts generated by loaves and fishes and homeless people in the area. A problem is becoming obvious with a disturbing recurring pattern of city staff behavior toward District 1. Consider the listening session regarding Ceiba Charter School that occurred in September 2022. The city distributed an invitation letter to the public with Ceiba Principal Josh Ripp's signature on the letterhead bearing the city's official seal, giving Ceiba counterfeit municipal standing. With Tiny Village, the city allows Dignity Moves use of city seal on its website, even though the city insists there is no application giving Dignity Moves counterfeit municipal standing. The city distributed the listening session invitation only to a select few adjacent stakeholders regarding Ceiba. For the District 1 community meeting, the city selectively distributed the notice in a manner that withheld notification to the residents closest to the Tiny Village project site, like Walker Street, 2nd Street, and Rodriguez. This inability to properly notify impacted stakeholders demonstrate a complete disregard for District 1. Established businesses and a population of hardworking Latinos that make this city run desire a safe community where parks with children can play. Instead, they are faced with a crime-ridden neighborhood with syringes scattered around swings and fed repeated false statements from the city regarding Tiny Village. They're accused of being NIMBYs, ignorant, and they were channeled into a forum that restricted them from voicing their concerns about a looming homeless project being pushed through without requisite public notice and hearing. The people deserve better.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public who'd like to speak at this time? Welcome.
Hi, I'm Shannon Candelario, and I'm from Pajaro Valley Little League, and I want to address the firework issue that Mr. Trujillo brought up earlier. Unfortunately, he has left and is not here, but he has some misconceptions about the fireworks that you allow us nonprofits, there are 20 of us, to sell within city limits. Everything we sell is legal, nothing leaves the ground. It's not weaponized, or it shouldn't be anyway. I don't see how it could be since there are no projectiles. But everything that shoots in the air is illegal. And unless we can stop people from bringing them into Watsonville, he's asking you to punish the 20 nonprofits that raise a significant amount of money for their nonprofits in 4 days, selling legal fireworks, passing fire inspection, doing classes and orientations with our firework carriers that tell us who can be in the booth, how they can be in the booth, and what we can sell in the booth. We don't sell anything individual per city requirements. Everything is in a kit. Everything is considered safe and sane. So maybe we need to do an education, maybe looking forward to next July 4th, partner with fire department, police department, some of us nonprofits and you city council members, and get some PSAs on TV to educate people what is legal, what isn't illegal, because he has them mixed up. Bottle rockets are not legal and we don't sell them. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else from the public like to speak at this time? Welcome.
Welcome. Good evening, Mayor, Council members. June Ponce, Santa Cruz County resident. I just want to commend, I was out on July 4th driving at 7:30 or 8 in the morning, and I really want to congratulate the City of Watsonville staff. I saw your Parks and Recs team and other members who helped with the 4th of July parade. And it just brought a sense of pride and joy because we are still very lucky to have this parade every 4th of July. And I really do want to congratulate Director oh, he knows. Nick. I'm sorry, Nick. But I do want to congratulate his team, and it was very well organized, and just want to applaud and congratulate our very own town. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Yes, good evening, Council, Mayor. My name is Trina Kaufman-Gomez. I reside in District 6 and have been a former council member here. I truly understand the dynamics that are going on here regarding those that are experiencing homelessness and the challenges that this community faces. And we need a very strong community advocate to be there to make sure that we're able to get the funding that we need to tackle this as a problem. This is a crisis in our community that's here, and it may or may not necessarily be the microvillage on the panacea that will take care of this. Upon closure of the Salvation Army's Navigation Center, that may be another cause of spill out of what's happening in this community because we have no sources that we were being provided by the Salvation Army at that point. I will segue into the next 60 seconds, and that is the fireworks. I would encourage that we allow the public to hear from TNT and Phantom about what they are allowing the nonprofits to sell so that the community can be educated on what those products are that are providing money and resources to these nonprofits, and to be able to help defend the community or the staff and the council of why we do have Safe and Sane here, which is essentially to subsidize the extra resources that we do have and that we do need for the police and fire for all of the illegals that are out there. So I encourage maybe some of these suggestions. I'll go back to those that are experiencing homeless. There was a workshop that was on Saturday in about March or so, and the ball got dropped. I would like to see that ball reactivated in engaging our community of this problem, the crisis that we have, how we can identify what we need to do, put a rubric together, and really, really get in behind this with the county and whatever resources. Less than 25% of the money being raised in this county is making it south of Live Oak that is going towards the homeless services. And that is a big problem that we have here when we don't have any means and we don't have the ability to make a decision for ourselves.
Thank you. All right, do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak? This is your last chance. Going once, going twice. All right, do we have someone? No? All right, seeing no one else from the public, I'm going to bring it back to council. So we are on item 12B, oral communications from the council. Councilmember Salcido?
Just wanted to reiterate how amazing staff was with the production that is the 4th of July parade. It's an incredible moment of unity. It was so much fun. I enjoyed being with the majority of council on the float and spending time with everyone, meeting members of our community, taking photos with fire, with police. It was incredibly heartwarming and uniting event. So thank you for all your hard work. I'm also so excited to see the proclamation for the Pajaro Valley Little League group. I'm so excited you're here. Congratulations on your championship. Thank you for waiting patiently. I hope this was a wonderful civic engagement experience for you. There are many ways in which you can participate in our community. We just did Summer in the City, where in a few years you could come and work in Watsonville in one of these departments, address some of the issues that you heard being spoken about tonight, and also the eloquent public speaking of one of your leaders, right? How do you speak in public? How do you rebut? And so those are all things you can learn through some of our programming, and also good job with your championship. I can't wait to congratulate you.
Councilmember Parker?
I want to thank you all for being here, and I want to thank the speakers who spoke. I want to thank everyone here in the audience, and I agree with Councilwoman Salcido in regards to education, because that's my bag. That's what I do regularly during the school year, and I see some familiar faces out here. Yes, they're trying to hide, but some of them, I wish they'd gotten up and said something, but your leaders did make some good points. And I do want to say a great appreciation to our park staff, and Jessica's hiding back there. And thank you very much for all the hard work and we'll say some more, but I'm going to be having a safety meeting in my district tomorrow, actually, with our senior HOAs to discuss this fireworks, and our police chief will be there with me, and we will be talking about it. Some of them truly do think that Safe and Sane fireworks provide a gateway to the illegal fireworks. And that's the only way I can phrase it. And so all fireworks doesn't work. But then again, you know, it's across it. Over, and I'm in the senior area, over there, it was like an M80 went off above my house, and the whole windows and everything shook. So there's hunting in my family, so I've been around gunshots and other things up close. And even that was startling to me because it was just so impactful. So I do want to say, and I hope that the city manager gives us a report, because our police just went to town on getting illegal fireworks, as well as finding the people. And I think we outdid pretty much all the way in Monterey, Santa Clara, and Santa Cruz County, just in the city of Watsonville on tagging people. And yet, wow. So thank you all for coming tonight. We very much appreciate it.
Councilmember Montesino?
Yes, good evening, and thank you everyone for being here. And, you know, thank you for those that got empowered to come speak that usually don't speak at this sporting. Y gracias por venir a decirnos lo que sienten y lo que anda pasando, the things that you guys are dealing with. But the things that you're dealing with is now. And that's what I really want to focus. Las cosas que ustedes andan diciendo, and if you could give me an extra second, Mayor, is that that's what we're going to start having more community meetings in that portion of the district to start solving some of the issues, because they're not in the future. They're what you're dealing with, and what we got to get organized and how to create solutions with. Public Works is a perfect department, but in other areas that we can, you know, work together and empower the community. Algo que necesitan que saber que vamos a tener más juntas porque las cosas que andan pasando son ahorita. Vamos a trabajar para resolver las cosas ahorita que andan pasando, ¿no? En el futuro van a venir otras cosas, pero trabajar juntos para poder cambiar la trayectoria, no nomás con la ciudad, pero también nosotros no tenemos el control del levee del río. So podemos traer la agencia apropiada para que nos pueda ayudar a limpiar esa sección. So vamos a trabajar, yo sé que no se van a quedar al fin de la junta, pero es donde voy a pedir unas cosas que traiga la staff para que nos podamos hacer cosas para esa comunidad, como luces, como más trash cans, como diferentes cosas que podamos hacer juntos y trabajar para el futuro. Things that we need to work on is, you know, I'm going to ask at the end of the meeting for some things from staff that they can, you know, bring back, and we can continue to have the discussions in the community. Thank you. And last little thing, sorry about that. I also want to, announce that to the community that we running for re-election and with further discussion with my family and specifically my wife, I would like to continue to represent District 1. It is a joy for the community to represent, this section of the community. It's there are different sections, but it's a wonderful community to represent that I think I can do good things for in another 4 years. So thank you.
Councilmember Dutra?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I first wanted to say thank you to, I know you're hearing this over and over, to park staff. The 4th of July, I know that's a big undertaking, and you guys did a great job. So thank you all for all the hard work you put into that. A lot of people always ask, well, why isn't there a fireworks show? And I'm like, well, we have one staff, they're not huge, so we have to split those events up. So as you know, we're not doing fireworks this year, but we're gonna do another drone show for one more year, and that's gonna be Labor Day weekend. So I'm out at the airport, so that's coming up pretty soon, as this year's been flying by. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it's gonna be Halloween in like another week. And then I wanna say that I attended the city breakfast. We went and Councilmember Parker, she was serving eggs, and Councilmember Orozco was there as well. That's who I saw, so if anyone else was there, I'm not leaving you out on purpose. But it's always nice to, give appreciation to our staff for all the hard work that they do here in the city. Speaking of the hard work, I know that people don't think that the police were out on the 4th of July, but let me tell you, they were. If you guys looked up in the air, so many people saw the drones that were flying. They were huge. They looked like airplanes. And the city manager is going to give an update, but there were a lot of $1,000 citations given out that evening, and people were arrested, and it was, and we collected a lot of illegal fireworks off the street. So, and there is a difference between safe and sane and illegal. So I think we need further education about that as well. And then finally, I do want to say, I also went to the 46th annual Watsonville Criterium bicycle race here in Watsonville. I'm not a big bike rider, but it's actually fun to watch these people race and qualify for their larger tournaments. So a lot of good things happening in Watsonville, and I just love being here as part of this community, and thank you for being here this evening. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Orozco?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. So I also briefly attended our employee breakfast. I want to thank the City of Watsonville employees for their dedication and hard work, and of course to our admin team for organizing the event. I attended the Friends of Watson Parks and Community Services Board of Directors meeting earlier this week, or last week. I've lost track of time. We're getting ready for our Strawberry Festival and our 3rd annual Strawberry Jam 1K, 5K Fun Run in collaboration with the Freedom Rotary Club. So you can now register at active.com. It was also a pleasure to support Positive Discipline Community Resources and the incredible Stephanie Varon-Liu at their annual Viola and Brunch. It was a well-attended event with representation from all over Santa Cruz County. And we also had a good time at this year's 4th of July parade. It is great to see our beautiful Watsonville community really come together in this annual tradition. And lastly, I really want to thank WPD for their enforcement efforts around the use of illegal fireworks. I think we did a phenomenal job, and I'm hoping that that continues throughout the years. Thank you.
Councilmember Clark?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So since our last council meeting, I was mostly out of town due to a work conference, but there are a few things that I was able to do when I got back. I would also like to echo my thanks for all of our staff for the wonderful 4th of July parade that was put on. Someone who has not been mentioned that I want to call out is also our interim city manager, who also is involved with that along with Parks. So I would like to recognize you for all the hard work that you did for a smooth parade this year. I would also like to give kudos to not only the police department, but also the fire department for working their tails off. Something that I do every year is I do right along with the fire department on the 4th of July because, fire, right? There was one time in the near past where not only could the police department give out citations, but so could the fire department. And so I'm hoping that we might be able to enact that again so we can double our efforts so that they can give out citations for the illegal fireworks as well. And I missed the employee appreciation breakfast, unfortunately, because I was out of town. But thank you, all of the hard staff that we have working for us. You guys make this city go. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, it is my turn. Welcome this evening. I know it's been a long evening. This is our last council meeting before we have a little break for the summer, so we have a lot today. But thank you so much for being here, for being patient. Just a couple of highlights. I went to El Pájaro CDC, to their community kitchen, and I got a tour, and I talked to some of the business owners there, and they are doing incredible things there, things that I did not know. So what they do is they help small business, people who want to own a small business or start a small business. They give classes, they teach you how to create a business plan. They walk you through everything, how to get a loan, anything that you could possibly think that you need to do to get a small business. So they're doing incredible things, and they have a lot of amazing companies that are really putting Watsonville on the map. So it was really super exciting for me to see that right in my own backyard, literally, well, not literally, in my neighborhood. So that was really, really awesome. So check them out if you've been thinking about opening a small business but don't know where to start. Of course, the 4th of July parade was incredible. Thank you everyone for indulging me. I decided to dress in all pink. So if you saw some crazy lady wearing all pink with a little hat, that was me. I wanted to have a little bit of fun this year. We had a great time, so thank you so much to staff. And unfortunately, I did not get to attend the breakfast. I also have a day job, so I couldn't make it, but I love breakfast and I love our employees, and I hope that you all had an amazing time, and we will have to have breakfast at some other time. Maybe for my mayor's dinner, we can do breakfast. But that is about it. I want to keep it short and sweet so we can get to the fun stuff. So thank you very much. All right, and with that, we are going to move on to item 12C, a report out of closed session.
Good evening. There's no reportable action.
Thank you very much. All right, we are going to move forward, and we have a few proclamations. So I'm going to begin with our, recognizing our hardworking Parks and Rec staff. So please come on down. And as you can see, we have a very special guest here with us tonight. Welcome, Rex. All right, so this proclamation, don't worry, I'm not going to read it all. That's why it's up there on the screen. Sorry, it's very small. But basically, I just want to say thank you so much to our Parks and Rec staff. And I want to proclaim July as Parks and Recreation Month. Especially during the pandemic, we learned how important our parks are, and parks really make our community. So we want to thank you so much. And we love everything that you do. We love you, Rex. So thank you. Your efforts do not go unnoticed, and you just make life worth living here and make it so much fun for all of us. So we appreciate everything that you all do.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. My name is Nick Kolobakib, and I have the pleasure of being your Parks and Community Services Director here in Watsonville. I think everybody here knows Rex Watson, but I did want to introduce my other teammates that are here tonight. In the back taking pictures is Elizabeth Shea, and right next to me is Jessica Beebe. The two of them make up the majority of our special events team. They put on productions for our community, like the 4th of July parade that we just had, and make those events super successful. They also do things like the Strawberry Festival and our movies in the park. Our first one is this Friday. We're showing Wonka, so come on down as the sun goes down. They also put together our Music in the Plaza series. We just kicked that off a couple of weeks ago, so make sure that you check out the schedule for that as well. Every day in the month of July, we have something special that's free to the community to help celebrate July as Parks and Recreation Month. There's a great calendar that Jessica has right here if you want to take a look at that. It's also on our website at watsonvillerec.com. Also next to Jessica is Joe Medina, who's our park superintendent. He and his team help to make sure that our parks look sparkling clean and are safe to the best extent possible across our community. This year's theme for Parks and Rec Month is where we belong, and that's really what we do. We make sure that we have spaces for our community to gather, to have fun, to spend time together, and we create programs that create memories for life. And I think Parks and Rec really is kind of the heartbeat of the community, and it's the heart and soul of what we do, and we're so proud to be here to serve the city of Watsonville. So thank you.
Do you guys want a picture with Rex? Come on, Rex.
Thank you.
Can Rex stay for the Little League picture?
Absolutely.
I'd be over here, Rex. The Little League picture will be over here. There's too many of them.
I believe next we have, what do we have next? I think we have Lowrider
What? We have,
next on the agenda.
Breastfeeding.
Breastfeeding awareness. All right, our next, we've got lots and lots of proclamations tonight. All right, so the next one that we have is for Breastfeeding Awareness Month. So we have someone to accept that? Excellent. Thank you so much. We really appreciate everything that you do, and this is how we make our babies healthy. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Carter, Aros Carter, and thank you so much to the Watsonville City Council. So everybody, I am Dana Wagner. I am the director of the WIC program here in Santa Cruz County. And I want to invite everybody, we are celebrating the 17th annual Breastfeeding Awareness Walk and Health Fair at the Plaza on August 9th at 3 o'clock. So please come on down using our great plaza space for this event, our 17th year. We are also celebrating the 50th anniversary of the WIC program. So it's a great celebration. Yes, thank you so much. And we just want everybody to come down. Thank you so much for the support of the city for this event that we've had, and we're really grateful to everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next, I believe, is our lowriders. I saw Judy. All right. So this proclamation, this is to proclaim lowrider culture a cultural treasure asset and a cultural asset and community treasure here in Watsonville. So the car clubs do a lot of community service. They do a lot of amazing things. They always volunteer to help, and they're just doing amazing things in addition to having really cool cars. So thank you so much for being part of our community, and thank you for highlighting all the work that our car clubs have done. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much on behalf of the lowriding community, on behalf of Pajaro Valley Arts Council, on behalf of the Watsonville Film Festival. Thank you, Mayor, for this proclamation. It's really, really important that we recognize the lowriding community as a cultural asset of Watsonville, a community treasure. And the Watsonville Film Festival, I am the director and co-founder. My name is Consuelo Alba. For 12 years, our work has been about celebrating our community, the creativity of our filmmakers, and changing the narrative of the Latinos that have been damaged by mainstream media. So we are very honored to receive this proclamation, honoring the lowriding community, because now we can see how vital they are to our own community. And there are many, many contributions. And these are multi-generational families that have this tradition, this culture, this art that we see displayed on the streets. So thank you so much for this recognition. Thank you to City Council for this recognition. And I want to invite you to our next event with the Watsonville Film Festival.
which is going to be Day of the Dead. Thank you so much to Nick and his team for partnering with us. See you at the Watsonville Plaza November 1st. We are hoping the lowriders will be there with us as well, and Pajaro Valley too. Thank you.
So, on behalf of the lowrider community, I'm the president of the Watsonville Riders, and we have a few other car clubs here from town. We want to thank the city for giving us this opportunity to showcase our cars, our vehicles, our culture to the city, to let you guys know that we're good people, we're great people. You know what I mean? We're out here just showcasing our cars. We want the city to involve us in more events. We were a big part of the great 4th of July parade that everybody's been talking about. The lowriders are a big part of it. We want to have more cars out there, not just 10. But we do want to let you guys know that we're a big part of this community. You know what I mean? Our name says it ourselves, Watsonville Riders, Watsonville Impalas, and every other club has Watsonville in their banner and plaque. So we support this city, and we are this city. So thank you guys for the opportunity, and hopefully we can keep doing it again.
Wendy, can you come closer here?
Is there a limit?
Somebody take a picture of us.
There's just not 10s above.
So we get to move all of us? Good chance, good chance. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm sure a lot more on the event, so I'm sure.
Right. And our last, but certainly not our least, proclamation of the night. I am so proud of this last group. This is the first time ever in 16 years that this has happened. So this is a huge, huge, huge historic event and a big win for our community. So this proclamation is for Pajaro Valley Little League Baseball. We are so, so, so proud of all your hard work, and you truly represent the best of Watsonville. Hard work, dedication, teamwork, cooperation, and spirit. So thank you so much, and if you'd like to join me on the other side of the podium, we can take a picture with the entire council. Of course, we have to have Rex.
Oh, this is awesome. Baseball, that's it.
We're ready for it.
I'm watching them go by. Look at these guys. This is great. How you doing there, sir? Good to see you. Yes, I know this guy. Quite a few of them. I've seen him. Actually, get to start playing. Even the old guys that I know.
Friday.
Friday. I mean, step up, go in front of them, guys. Should be the tall guys. Should be the tall guys. That's why I'm here. Yeah, over here. Thank you for this hat, you guys. That's totally awesome. Do you guys have a cheer? What's your like?
I'm gonna do one to you.
How many years of this? 20 years? Rick. Where's Jimmy? Jimmy, there you go. I'm standing taller, dude. It's my face. Your face.
Oh, yeah.
Principal Dad. It's 'cause you weren't here, dude. It's good to see you. Let's create a dynasty next year, right? Next year. You got a tournament this weekend. All right. Right on,
So much. Again, we just wanted to make sure that you all knew that we were super proud of you. Watsonville is so proud of you. We have a special gift for you here. So thank you so much. I will give this to the coaches to take and distribute. But thank you so much. And we want to see you win again. So come back next year. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much.
Sure, come down. Are you a coach? Congratulations. Yeah, great job. What a tremendous, how long have you been with TV? Stay there. My son's 18 now. Stay there another like 10 years. Oh, really? Are you like anytime you grows up thing like baseball? That's it. That's the sport we wanted to play. Yeah, I'm from TV. Oh, yeah.
Is this me? Yeah. What are you doing? oh, oh, okay. You're just... Hey, hey. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, Shannon. Oh, okay, I know. I love you. Ah! Thanks. How are you? Congratulations. So you have a game coming.
we missing? All right, once again, congratulations. At this time, we are going to move on to item 13, reports to council. And we are on item 13A, our city manager's update report.
Great. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I have a few items to update you on, mostly some very appropriate summer activities that are coming up. I want to share with you our official poster for our Strawberry Festival coming up. Our work was designed by Brittany Costanzo, and it's just a beautiful reflection of the cycle of life of our main crop here in the Pajaro Valley. And again, want to remind the community that our Strawberry Festival, it will be held on the weekend of August 2nd to August 4th. So looking forward to seeing the community gather there. As we saw this evening, July is Parks and Rec Month, and I just want to make sure the residents know that to check our watsonvillerec.com website, because there are tons of free activities for youth and families, and I just want to make sure that we don't miss out on any of those opportunities. We've been talking about this evening about fireworks enforcement. And this is an image of the merchandise that our incredibly focused work with our special enforcement team. They were able to get off our streets over 4,500 pounds of illegal fireworks. This was thanks to our enforcement team that worked between July 1st and July 4th. And this was one of the largest illegal firework busts in the history of our department. On July 3rd, they seized over 4,500 pounds of illegal fireworks at homes in Royal Oaks and Watsonville. 2 suspects were arrested from this, and they were charged for possession and sale of illegal fireworks. The police department and the fire marshal are working together to properly dispose of this merchandise, and they're still processing hundreds of pounds of firework that were seized on during this enforcement period. I want to also report that 40 citations were issued during this time, and just incredible work during this time. However, as we saw, there are some other illegal fireworks in our community, and it's definitely something that the team is committed to continue to work on. And so that was great work on the 4th of July, and I want to thank their police department for that commitment and effort. Exciting coming up, our youth center is now 30 years old. So it doesn't seem that old, yes, but it's 30 years later, and it was brand new when I started working here in the community. So it is celebrating 30 years on September 27th, so there's going to be more details coming up about celebrating the history of our youth center. And then I just want to make sure that the community does have an opportunity to provide feedback on the City of Watsonville, Watsonville Wetlands Watch, and the Community Arts and Empowerment Collaborative in providing feedback about a mural that will be part of our upcoming Nature Center at Ramsey Park. The survey is going to be open until July 14, and it can be accessed using that barcode that's on my screen right now. There's some great proposals from different artists, so it's a great opportunity to help choose what that mural will look like for this building. Again, nomination period, it's opening up next Monday, and it will stay open until August 9. So anyone that is interested in running for council for District 1, 2, and 6, that is the nomination period. And I want to close my update, council, just to highlight an action that you took this evening. And I want to bring to your attention that in your consent agenda, there was discussions during our budget process that how much you all were interested in really putting some focused efforts on economic development. So tonight you approve an FTE that will be focusing on working on economic development. And also an augmentation of the budget for our temp staff in the Parks Department that would allow our bathrooms to be clean at least twice a day. And I wanna appreciate both the Parks Director and his staff and the Public Works Director, because these two items come with their partnership and open-minded to say, like, these are priorities, how can we make it happen? And it just really took their partnership and creativity to make this happen. So we're excited to see some movement, and I think you have a couple items on tonight's agenda that also address some of the other priorities that you have signaled to us. So I'm pretty pleased that together we are able to bring and address some of your priorities. So with that, that's my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Councilmember Dutra.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Tamara, Interim City Manager. I have a couple questions. I just wanted to, one, say thank you again for all the efforts that have gone into really trying to address the illegal firework issue that we are having in our community. I mean, this is definitely something that I receive of many emails, phone calls, you name it. People are getting a hold of me because of them, and I can understand why. I mean, some of these booms are really kind of chilling throughout your whole body. They really rock you. So I understand what the community is talking about. I hope that maybe you could at some point bring back to us maybe further ideas of how we can address this issue in the future, maybe raising the fines from 1,000 to, even more, to a point for when, so that the people could really, you get caught, it's a real big issue, to maybe also ensuring that they don't get out of these fines, and whether we can put this on their water bills or some other way to make sure that they're paying them, and or whatever you may think of, so if you can do maybe a further evaluation and get back to us, I'd appreciate that. And then the second thing was, I wanted to say, I was so concentrating on the fireworks that, what was the last thing you talked about? Oh yeah, the positions. Thank you for listening to us. I know that the council is pretty united on a lot of where we stand with what's important to us. And I really thank you for listening to us. I think that for a lot of years, we may have had some leadership that didn't listen to us as much as we were being listened to recently. So I want to say thank you. And the community is seeing the differences. I mean, just look at all the restriping throughout the city that we've done. I mean, that's because we've been putting pressure on you guys, and we thank you so much. But things are changing, and it's the first time in a long time. So thank you very much.
Councilmember Montesino.
And I just want to continue on that notion. I mean, you've been very responsive to, our council's, wishes and the community. Because I mean, we get it as a community request, like cleanliness in our bathrooms, fireworks. We're getting it from the community, so we're just channeling that to you guys, and just for you and everyone in staff has been very responsive in a lot of these areas and a lot of issues with the limited resources that we have. So just want to thank you.
Councilmember Parker.
I want to reiterate my thanks for everything that's been set up to this point. We're going to have a safety meeting in District 7 tomorrow, and the chief is going to be there. And I'd love to have copies of that picture, because I did see on social media the great city of Seaside I don't know if anybody's watching, sit with their 300 pounds of, and they were so proud. They had the entire department out there. And we're at what, close to 5,000 pounds and how many? So I really want, I understand that we're going to have some good information and feedback tomorrow, but I really want everybody to know how much effort. I saw those drones too. And I thank you, I thank the police department, I thank the special trained police who came out, and a lot of people were on extended duty, just really working at it. I also want to thank you for going back and those 4 things that we really wanted. Thought it was ingenious with the bathrooms. You really focused on what we said we wanted, and it happened, so thank you. And the other position that, brings revenue into the city of Watsonville, and they report to you, and I know that your rigor and your standard is amazing. So we appreciate that. And thank you very much. It was a good report. I appreciate it. Thank you, Nick.
Councilmember Salcido.
Thank you, Interim City Manager Vitas. I appreciate your presentation and communication and creativity in trying to listen to council's direction and find some creative solutions for how can we get some of what we wanted, or can we work, a part-time solution, or can we reconfigure staff, or can we figure out how to get new staff in these really high priority positions? So I just really appreciate this presentation and the responsiveness from you. I think you're doing a great job. I also wanted to shout out Watsonville Police. The investigation effort that this took to find this amount of fireworks and bring felony charges was outstanding. It was not just simply going, responding with patrol, handing out a citation. I mean, they had to write search warrants. They had to execute them. They had to get the manpower to obtain these fireworks. And someone blew their hand off in Salinas. So these really do kill and injure people. And our police department heard us in terms of what our priority was and made it a priority. So I really appreciate that as well. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Mayor Pro Tem Orozco.
Thank you, Mayor. So thank you so much for addressing the bathroom situation. I know that was an item that I was definitely pushing for along with the rest of the council. We always say that, the reward for good work is more work. So I'm hoping that we continue to find creative ways to find more of a permanent solution to that bathroom situation, along with, of course, addressing the other council priorities. So thank you so much for that collaboration that happened among departments to make that happen. Thank you.
All right, I'll be super quick. Thank you so much. I'm super glad that we were able to find some money to have those 2 positions. That's really exciting. And with that, we're going to go ahead and move forward. I'll keep it short so we can keep moving along. So with that, we're going to move on to item 14, public hearings, ordinances, and appeals. 14A, confirmation of diagrams, assessments, and levying assessments for fiscal year 2024-2025 for Bay Breeze, Elmed, Vista Montana, Elmed, and Gonzalez Street Alleyway, Elmed. And we will begin with a staff report by Parks Superintendent Medina.
Good evening, council members, Mayor Kudos Carter, and city staff. I'm Joe Medina, Park Superintendent, and I'm going to give you a short presentation on LMADs today. Our LMADs are including Gonzalez Street, Bay Breeze, and Vista Montana. And a recommendation tonight from staff is that the City Council adopt resolutions confirming the diagrams, assessments, and levying the assessments for fiscal year 24-25 for the Bay Breeze LMAD, Vista Montana LMAD, and Gonzalez Street LMAD. So the process includes initiation by City Council adopting directing the filing of the engineer's reports on March 26th, accepting the engineer's reports on May 14th, and having the public hearing tonight on July 9th. The need for this annual CPI increase includes the rising costs of personnel, materials, and contractors. If assessments do not keep up, we will need to reduce service levels. First LMAD is Gonzalez Street Alleyway, which is on Freedom and Brennan, in between Gonzalez as well, nearby Callahan Park. And it was established in 1994, includes 17 parcels, maximum assessment is $35, and the annual assessment is about $600. We're not requesting a change or recommending a change to the assessment this year. The next LMAD is Bay Breeze along Ohlone Parkway. The city began maintenance on this area in 2004 and 2005, 114 single-family parcels. This year's increase is $15.90 per unit for a total of $1,800. Of that, 24,000 or so is budgeted for maintenance and a little over 47 for reserve. The next LMAD is Vista Montana. City began maintenance on this LMAD in 2004 and 2005 and includes 173 single-family homes, 80 townhomes, and 135 apartments. The increase this year for single-family is $14, townhomes $11, and apartments $4, for a total increase of just under $4,000. Of that, just under $60,000 will be budgeted for maintenance and just under $100 allocated for the reserve. As you well know from our earlier meetings, the assessment is no longer sufficient. Rising maintenance costs are not captured, insufficient funding to build the reserves. Next steps were taken this evening. The community voted no to a proposed assessment increase, and we will be moving forward with minimizing maintenance in the area. So again, the recommendation is that City Council adopt a resolution confirming the diagrams, assessments, and levying the assessments for fiscal year 24 and 25 for the Bay Breeze, Vista Montana, and Gonzalez Street LMADs. I'll take any questions at this time.
Questions? Councilmember Parker?
I want to thank you for all your efforts. Edric's not here, but for everybody's effort in our Proposition 218, our years of meeting and discussing it. And so we, in this instance, we let the people vote, which is what's prescribed by this state law, by proposition. And we won't be moving forward with it. Now, you said there was a care for safety, and the maintenance is safety and something. Could you clarify that and what it is that would be safety?
Yeah, it's, what we're gonna look for is anything that could be a hazard to the public. So that could be anything from a low-hanging tree branch to vegetation covering, traffic signage, obstructing ADA access, things like that. What we are going to minimize is aesthetic maintenance. So pruning of, bushes and trees just for the look, for the shape, things like that. Those will be minimized and basically eliminated. And we're gonna prioritize only the essential safety issues.
And so as you're driving along around the backside of this LMAD, when plants and other things go into the street, you'll just cut it back to the curb?
Yes, yeah, in some cases, which we got a head start on with our last pruning effort in the last fiscal year, the plants are improperly placed, somewhat like the trees. And in those cases, we will remove those shrubs because they're constant maintenance and it's something that we can't budget for right now.
Right, okay, so some of these, so it may be just dirt in areas rather than having any vegetation.
Well, one of the things we mentioned earlier was that we're gonna try to utilize any supplementary budgeting or funding. One thing that we do have through our tree companies that we contract with is free mulch. So we don't want to see bare dirt. We want to see mulch to reduce weeds, which will reduce costs for maintenance. So if we do have to remove shrubs because it's too much maintenance, then we'll place mulch in place at a low cost or no cost.
What other LMAD responsibilities are through a safety prescription? What other responsibility, like lighting?
Yeah, lighting, and then of course the drainage channel that's on the other side of the fence on Bridge Street. That's a huge one that doesn't really get talked about a lot because I think there's some education that is still ongoing about what's all included in the Vista Montana LMAD. So I think that is obviously a stormwater control facility, so that's going to be prioritized. We've already allocated the hours through field services work, and that won't be changing.
Staff went above and beyond, and you guys went out and utilized grants. And not even in the way the people who gave you the grants really wanted to, but you pled the case of what it was for trees and their removal because they were damaging property and, right?
Yes.
Has that been completed for?
Yeah, that project's been completed, and the new trees have been installed, appropriate trees. So I want to make sure we make that a point that they were hand-selected by myself and the Director of Wetlands Watch, Jonathan Pilch.
Okay.
And approved by CAL FIRE. And so that we're very confident that there will not be a problem again, similar to this one.
Okay. And then in front of people's homes, that's not deemed safety issues unless it's in the street or in the public, like if it goes onto the sidewalk?
In front of people's homes, I think the only safety issue I can see there would be low-hanging tree branches obstructing walkways, and then we have a clearance minimum over streets as well.
Okay.
15 feet over
But
streets.
not necessarily maintaining what you talk, the aesthetics of it.
Yes, exactly. So
Right.
if shrubbery and vegetation is blocking walkways, blocking ADA
Chop, chop.
access, it'll be cut as minimally as possible, and same with the trees.
Okay, and what about sidewalk issues?
The sidewalks are, the first step was removing the trees, so we're past that step. And now I believe Murray is working on the sidewalk issue, and we're identifying the locations where it needs to be replaced and working on funding for that.
Okay, and then any new sidewalk issues that weren't produced by the trees, how will that be paid for?
That's a good question.
Yes, so I think once we get through the tree replacement process and address the sidewalk issues that were caused by the trees, the responsibility for sidewalks will go back to the adjacent homeowners.
Which is like it's
Just like it is
everywhere else
yeah.
in town?
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you so much for all that information, appreciate it.
Councilmember Salcedo.
Is there a possibility that some of the tree maintenance, we talked about grant funding for other types of tree canopy projects? Is there something like that out there that could help perhaps augment or support the tree canopy so we're not pulling them out because we can't afford to maintain them? Is there anything like that? Any hope?
Yeah, definitely. CAL FIRE has ongoing grant opportunities. We have a good relationship with the previous grant administrator. She reaches out to me and personally recommends grants that are upcoming. So we can definitely look for those in the future. And CAL FIRE's mission is to plant more trees, not remove trees. So like Councilwoman Parker was mentioning, the project that we recently completed was kind of a rare one. Future projects would probably be more aimed at planting, and that would be something we have to plan strategically to make sure we're not running into those same issues.
Great, thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions or comments from council? All right, seeing none, I'm going to bring it out to the public. Would anyone from the public like to comment on this item? All right, seeing no one from the public, I will bring it back to council for an appropriate motion.
I'd like to move to accept our staff. Do you want to do it separately? Each one separately? Can we do it all at once?
You may do them all at once.
Okay, so I'd like to move as staff recommends.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion before we have a roll call vote? All right, seeing no request for discussion, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Mayor. And the motion on the floor is to approve staff recommendation items 14A6 through 14A8, which is action on a resolution confirming diagram and assessment and levying assessment for fiscal year 24-25 for Vista Montaña, Bay Breeze, and Gonzales. Clark? Dutra?
Aye.
Montesino?
Yes.
Orozco?
Aye.
Parker?
Aye.
Salcido?
Aye.
Quiroz Carter?
Aye.
The motion carries.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We are now moving on to item 14B, submittal of the 2024-2025 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And we will begin with a staff report by Housing Manager Landaveri.
Okay, let's turn it on. All right. Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm Carlos Landaveri, Housing Manager in the Community Development Department, and I will be providing you with some background and an overview of the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, 2024 Action Plan. The CDBG program is a federal program administered by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. It provides annual grants on a formula basis to cities, counties, and states to develop viable urban communities by providing decent housing, a suitable living environment, and by expanding economic development opportunities primarily for low and moderate income people. We are considered an entitlement jurisdiction, which means we are entitled to receive funds on an annual basis, on a formula basis, so long as we have a consolidated plan. We get an annual action plan each year, and we submit all the required reportings. The consolidated plan provides an assessment of the housing and community development needs, a strategic plan for addressing those needs, and an annual action plan that outlines how CDBG funds will be used each year. Our current consolidated plan covers the period from July 1st, 2020 through and including June 30th, 2025. So this is the last action plan under our current consolidated plan. All the program activities in the action plan should help achieve the community's long-term goals and priorities identified in the consolidated plan, and they must meet one of these national objectives. They must benefit low and moderate income people, must prevent or eliminate slum and blight, or they must serve an urgent community need. These are examples of eligible activities that we can do using CDBG funds. And of course, even with some flexibility, there are a lot of things that we cannot do. And here's a list of those. But at least 70% of all of our expenditures must benefit low and moderate income people. And all expenditures must meet one of the national objectives. And the priorities in our consolidated plan include affordable housing, economic development, public services, and public facilities. And so now to the most important part of our annual action plan. This year, the city's allocated amount is $660,935, but we also received program income or loan repayments in the amount of $80,000, and we have unused funds from previous activities in the total amount of $100,000, for a total amount of $840,935 available for this year. And so our recommended programmed activities for this coming year include continuing the activities that we had this year, including supporting youth center staff using all of our public services amount, it's a total of 15, or the cap of 15%, in the amount of $114,000. We have a Section 108 loan repayment to help repay the parking structure right next to us. This is the last repayment, the last year to repay that loan. That's $172,000. Planning and admin, they give us 20% of that, so that it's $148,000. We're also recommending increasing the code enforcement amount to $150,000 to support our code enforcement folks. We're also recommending continuing supporting El Pájaro CDC with economic development in the amount of $100,000. The rest of the funds, we're proposing to continue funding the Ramsey Park Playground, what we would call Phase 2, in the amount of $156,261. With that, we recommend that following the public hearing, the City Council adopt a resolution to approve the submittal of the 2024-2025 CDBG Annual Action Plan. That concludes my presentation. We'll be available to answer any questions.
Questions from council? Oh, okay, second time today, no questions. All right, would anyone from the public like to speak on this item? Welcome.
Is on or not. There we go. I can hear myself talking. Anyway, my name's Trina Kaufman-Gomez, and I'm familiar with the CDBG funds. And one of the items that was on here, if we can go back to about maybe 4 slides or so of emergency, there was a defined item that was in there about prevention, slum, and blight, and urgent community need. How can we have a discussion about those items under the national objectives for the CDBG funds that can help us in the situation of our current conversation that happened here this afternoon or this evening? And that has to do with the problems that we have with many people that are experiencing homelessness, with a lot of the mental health issues that are here. How can we look at this and find the resources from this component of the CDBG funds to assist us with those problems and issues and challenges in this community? I'd like to see if we can have more conversation about that being part of our priority with the funding here. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else from the public like to speak on this item? Seeing no one else, I'll bring it back to council. Councilmember Dutra.
I move to approve the motion, or to approve the staff recommendation. I do have a question, though. Can we go back to the?
Can I second that?
Oh, yeah, I need a second.
Yeah, I'll
thanks.
second that.
Can we go back to the slide that has the breakdown of the costs? There you go, thanks. Has this already been a year since this came to us? Last time you did this? It's been a year. It seems like just like yesterday. But I guess we're now on the second phase for the Ramsey Park Playgrounds, which is, I remember when we just approved the first part. So, thank you for the commitment to that, the renovation of that park. I appreciate that being in here. And I'm looking forward to supporting this, so thank you.
Councilmember Montesino.
I think, I think, again, going back to the thing, it really reflects what the council's, priorities have been, because we talked about code enforcement, we talked about economic development, we talked about, playgrounds. So it talks about what, what we've been saying and been wanting. So I'm really supportive of this. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments from council? All right, seeing none, we have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Dutra?
Aye.
Montesino?
Yes.
Orozco?
Aye.
Parker?
Aye.
Salcido?
Aye.
Quiroz Carter?
Aye.
The motion carries.
All right, thank you very much. We will now move on to item 14C, major modification to special use permit U12288 to add podiatry-related uses to the Pajaro Hill Commercial Center master uses list located at 1051 South Green Valley Road. And we are beginning with a staff report by Associate Planner Carmona.
Good evening, City Council members and residents of Watsonville. My name is Ivan Carmona, Associate Planner for the Community Development Department. And tonight, I'll be presenting a major modification to Special Use Permit U-122-88. The subject property is the Pajaro Hill Commercial Center, located at 1051 South Green Valley Road. It has a general plan land use designation of general commercial and is located within the Visitor Commercial Zoning District with a planned development overlay. The Pajaro Hills Commercial Center was developed in 1988 via special use permit U-122-88. The approval created a master use list for the shopping center. For planned developments, the Watsonville Municipal Code requires the City Council to approve all planned developments. Any proposed changes to those planned developments are subject to the original body reviewing, which is why we're here for City Council approval. So what is the proposed project? It's a paper exercise. We are going to be amending the existing master use list, which is a major modification to special use permit U-122-88 to add podiatry-related uses to the master uses list. Within the shopping center, there are existing medical uses such as a dentist office and a bank that is currently vacant. There's a Wells Fargo building that was currently there. Wells Fargo vacated that building. The reason we are going through this application, this would allow Santa Cruz, the Foot Doctors of Santa Cruz, to occupy this building. The parking requirements are the same for a bank as well as a doctor's office, so there'll be no additional impacts by allowing this new use in the shopping center. With all entitlement applications, an environmental review is required. This project qualifies for a Class 1 categorical exemption because it involves adding a new medical use to an existing master use list for an existing shopping center. Staff recommends the City Council adopt the resolution approving the major modification to special use permit U-122-88 to add podiatry-related uses to the Pajaro Hills Commercial Center master uses list located at 1051 South Green Valley Road, APN 018-281-32, based on the attached findings and conditions of approval, and finding the project exempt from review under the California Environmental Quality Act as a Class 1 categorical exemption pursuant to Section 15301 of the CEQA guidelines. That concludes staff's presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions, and we do have the property owner here to answer questions as well.
Councilmember Montesino?
Just a process question. Why wouldn't this go to the Planning Commission?
Oh, because this was a planned development originally approved by the City Council. So because this is a modification to that planned development, it has to come back to the original approving body, which is the City Council.
Thank you.
Councilmember Parker?
So I'm looking through the master list, and I'm just wondering why there were no medical. I mean, I see things in here like scalp treatment shops, you know? Well, I mean, I know there's a vet in the back, too. I'm not sure that's medical for humans, but it's, you know, many of our folks say. And I'm just wondering why it was not put on the original list.
That is a very good question. So when the property owner developed this shopping center, they decided to create this list. They the ones who chose these uses and these businesses. So as time went on, they felt that it was time to change and add that amended list. So we received this application and had assisted them with this paper exercise and bringing this application for your review.
And so does revenue change for having a retail business there versus having a podiatry practice there? Does revenue change for the city of Watsonville?
Yes, it would change because medical use doesn't generate sales tax as a retail business would.
Okay, so you said the owner's here?
Correct. A representative of the owner.
Oh, representative. So could you come up to the podium? That's great. I just wanted to ask, because since you guys weren't here then, I know that. Because I wasn't here then. I mean, I was here, but I wasn't up here.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'm Ruben Hellick with Cushman & Wakefield. We're a commercial real estate firm hired by J. Paul Company, who owns the Pajaro Hills Shopping Center under a single-purpose LLC. I've been doing the leasing out there for a while for the J. Paul Company, and we lost the bank about 1.5 years ago. Just not to put a finer point on things, but banks don't generate much in the way of sales tax revenue either. But regardless, I tried like heck to find a replacement bank, regional, national, local, went to credit unions, et cetera. The world of commercial retail leasing has changed dramatically just in the last few years. And to back up, this master use permit was created in 1988. The iPhone came out in 2007. Shopping back in 1988 was a different world than what we have now.
Oh, I totally hear you, because I
Yeah.
was here.
So what?
And an
what
adult
we-
shopping.
What we look for now is synergy when we're leasing in various centers. And we look for more service commercial uses that will supplement and strengthen the existing retail that we have. Because in the end, your sales tax revenue comes from individuals with wallets spending money. And if we're able to have more wallets walk into Subway because we have more people there, we generate more sales tax revenue. So it's, we would ultimately prefer to have a very Tony retailer there, but for a variety of reasons, which would take quite a bit of time to explain.
My purpose in having you come on up was not to put you on the defense. My purpose was just to ask some clarifying questions,
Please.
because you've been out, you've been doing this for a long time. I've been around Watsonville my entire life, as some of the folks here, and we've seen the uses change, certainly. The pies have come and gone, and they're no longer, there. The salad bars that were there, I mean, there were some great places there along the way. I'm just a little bit worried, because we had another place not too far away, like across the street, that had some great shops in it. And now we have Kaiser there, and we have medical. And I really, I understand this is one, and it's podiatry uses, singular, right? Not just all medical uses. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And that might even encourage, like a podiatry, store where you buy shoes and all the other good stuff, come in.
Councilmember Parker, they will be selling retail items there.
Oh, that's good to hear.
It's adjunct to their main business, but they have a line of arch supports, shoes, and other orthopedic materials that will be available for sale.
Okay, that's great. That's good to hear. Okay, well, I just kind of wanted to know, because as everybody in Watsonville, shopping is near and dear to our hearts when it comes to what we're limited to, and we'd like to keep it up. So thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for representing your client in the information you've given us.
Well, I had to come down early to watch the Little League celebration. That was great.
Yeah, well, it was
Thank
pretty
you.
awesome, yeah. And sorry you didn't get the hat, but yeah, I'm happy to have gotten it. So,
Anything else?
no, not from me. Anyone else before?
Councilmember Dutra?
Thanks. Well, not for you, Ruben, but thank you. I remember.
Well, no, I was going to continue and ask them a question too. He just wanted
okay.
to know before he
Yeah,
left the podium. Okay, one more question on this one, and thank you very much, sir, for coming.
Not for you.
No, this is for those guys, the planners. So when you look at this and you look at what was it? I'm going to ask you to go back a couple screens on the there's a CEQA as a class 1 categorical exemption because it involves adding a new medical use. So what does that involve? How long is that process?
So there's an existing vacant building. Now that we've added this use to the master use list, the podiatry use is subject to a zoning clearance and a business license for proposed tenant improvements.
Okay.
And
All
those
right.
are ministerial that don't require an environmental review.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Dutra?
Thank you. So I do understand kind of the future of what these shopping centers are going to look like. It's, I feel like I remember back in the day as well when, people could go into shopping and into a lot of Watsonville was filled with shops, JCPenney's, Ford's, Gottschalk's. I mean, you name it, you could get it in Watsonville. And I kind of agree with Councilmember Parker. A lot of people they miss those days. Those days are unfortunately gone, and it's hard to explain to people that it's now, everything's gone online, right? So what do you think? Do you think we're going to have to be doing this more often now? Because I was around when we did it with Kaiser, and we made a special exception to let them go into commercial spaces that we're used to, selling, there was an aquarium store, and there was an art store, or framing store, there was a bookstore, which is now closed. All these places are gone, right? Guitar store. We're losing all of these shops. Where do you see the future for these shopping centers moving forward?
Personally, I think we're in a great position at the moment with the downtown specific plan, and we're working on the general plan update as well. Once we get a general plan update complete, then we can actually focus on revising our zoning ordinance. Right now, our zoning ordinance is archaic. It's old, which is why we're having these exercises, bringing the projects forth to the city council. I think we have a great opportunity for Watsonville to grow. We have existing shopping centers that we can propose redevelop, but the way we do it is one property at a time with one owner at a time. We can't force property owners to redevelop. They come to us based on our code, which allows them to choose how they want to develop.
Well, I'm hoping after tonight, with the new economic development position, that, people do like, well, we would like Ulta. There are businesses that will fit this community. And so I think that this is a good prime example of what happened tonight with this, is that we're gonna have to be more aggressive in getting those businesses in, because otherwise, if we're waiting for businesses to come, which we do need businesses like this as well, but this is what's gonna come and fill it in if we're not being aggressive on that forefront. So I'm appreciative of you putting that out there. Tonight is a good example of why we must do that. So, good luck to them, and, I know, like you were saying, it's only one exception for this specific business, but hopefully we can, with your guys' help, get some businesses in here that the community can say, okay, I can go shop there again. So thank you.
Councilmember Salcido.
This is in my district. This is a comment, not a question, just to clarify. This area is in my district. I will be supporting it this evening. District 4 has a robust commercial area at the moment, in both Nob Hill and this one. And I do agree that we do need medical providers. It's one of the only areas where human beings still need to physically go in for evaluations for their health. And the fact that this well-established medical provider needs to expand and will also be offering retail to a limited degree is pretty great. But I myself have also gone to Kaiser, which is near my district, if not in it. And when I'm at Kaiser, I go to Round Table. I go to the restaurants that are there after my appointments. So, for me, I see it, the health and wellness aspect of this is really important. But I also would love to hear some more proactive work with the city touching base directly with representatives of these centers, that if they're looking for a year and a half, how are we supporting them? What are we doing? I know they have the direct connection to retailers and business and those connections, but what else can we do to support those companies to help them fill vacant properties, because our sales tax is something we really rely on. So, Mr. Hellick, I appreciate your email. If there's any way that you think we could pair earlier in this process together, or if you have any feedback for our staff, we would love to hear it. What can we do for our brick and mortar locations to fill those with companies and items that can increase our sales tax? So I appreciate your subject matter expertise on that, and thank you.
Any other questions or comments from council? All right, seeing none, I'll take it out to the public. Would anyone from the public like to comment on this item? Seeing no one from the public, I'll bring it back to council for the appropriate motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any deliberation before I call for a roll call? Councilmember Dutra?
Just a quick question. I'd like to know, kind of looking back, how much revenue has been lost with, I guess, the tax base since we've been moving to e-commerce. Since we've been moving towards e-commerce. I just out of curiosity, I don't know who can get those numbers, but because otherwise we're gonna have to make that money up somewhere else. So if that's building a new hotel or whatever, I mean, with all these loss of businesses.
We will be bringing an adoption of our economic development plan, and I can bring some of that data when that is presented. And my goal is August 27 when we resume meeting. So.
All right. We have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Dutra,
Aye.
Montesino,
Yes.
Orozco,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Salcido,
Aye.
Quiroz Carter.
Aye.
The motion carries.
All right, thank you very much. We do not have any emergency items added to the agenda. Do we have any requests on scheduling of future agenda items? Councilmember Dutra?
Hi, I don't know how this has to be done properly, but tonight in our consent agenda, we approved the cleaning of the Safeway Zero Freedom Boulevard, or was that Airport Boulevard? At that time of approving that, we did not include fencing or any preventative measures. Will we have to bring back that item if we wanted to secure it?
I understand that our ordinance does not allow us to install fencing around the property because it's private property, so we would not be able to fence it. We will be cleaning it in accordance to the nuisance abatement that the council took action on a few weeks ago, but we will not be able to fence it.
So what happens then?
That is why I have encouraged and maintain open lines of communications with the property owner to make sure that development occurs in that property as soon as we possibly can, so that by changing the use and not having a vacant lot is what can really make the difference long-term. But for now, we will clean it and continue to work with the property owner and making sure that they do their due diligence to allow development to occur in that property.
Okay, well, we can talk offline more about it.
Councilmember Montesino?
Yeah, like I said at the beginning of the meeting, I'd like to ask, for another formula, another meeting with, in my district to relay some of these issues that they're bringing in, some lighting that we talked about, more trash cans. And working with our partners in Zone 7, see if we can get a cleanup in back of the yard, especially in the area where a lot of the mobile home parks are right up at the levee, because that's where a lot of the concerns are coming from.
As soon as I get a date from you, we will mobilize to have a follow-up meeting, which we promised the District 1 residents when we met with them a couple weeks ago. And the team, city team, is actually getting together this week on Thursday to develop a plan, an action plan. So I want to thank the team, police, public works. We're all coming together, CDD, to work on a plan. So
Thank you. And can we get an update on wayfinding, where we're at with wayfinding in the future?
Wayfinding, woo-hoo. It's coming, it's coming.
Councilmember Parker?
So how would it take for us, and I applaud your efforts in trying to keep the communication open with this particular problematic property owner. You like my alliteration? Because what would it take for us to be able to put fences? Can we change your ordinance? Because, I mean, I think of this, if we do cleanup and we're spending $100,000, we have an investment. Let's put something in. And I recognize we kind of set precedents a little bit over there, but it was owned by the city in District 6-7, right? Over there on Bridge.
That is the main difference.
Yeah, and I understand that. But why can't we put a temporary fence there until there is a plan from the property owner and he can pay for it? Because I just don't see, I mean, I see you and staff working tremendously hard to have a conversation, and I see a business owner who's had over a year to have a conversation and to do some of the things he's just talking about doing now. And this blight is just, I mean, every day we hear about it from the people who drive by it, people who live there. So what can we do proactively to say, okay, if we clean it up, we're putting a fence around it, and that's the way it is?
We will look into some legal issues that may need to be addressed prior to being able to do that, but currently.
But on
we're
the pathway, yeah, it was.
We will explore it.
Okay, thank
I hear the council's concern. I share those concerns as well. That's why I've really.
But notwithstanding, I appreciate the method to your madness on this one. No, and it's right, but if you don't have someone who is on the other end of the conversation.
Councilmember Salcido?
Does the new Supreme Court decision with Grant Pass assist you in dealing with encampments like Safeway? Like, we don't have to wait till there's $100,000 of damage to remove illegal encampments? Like, that's the essential asset.
I'm going to go ahead and adjourn at 9:44.